Your brand new iPhone deserves the best protection, and the iLune 3-pack Screen Protector plus 3-pack Camera Lens Protector has you covered. Don't take risks with your iPhone. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Rats the size of CATs roam the streets in our hellhole city, where mountains of festering rubbish pile up on every corner. There are rats the size of cats in this UK city, and mountains of rubbish along the streets. Residents have complained that the area stinks, and you can't turn a corner without tripping over heaps of waste. Huge rats plaguing rubbish-riddled Birmingham amidst the bin workers' strike are terrifying locals as the industrial action, which started early this year, continues. The clash between Waste Collectors Union Unite and Birmingham City Council over the scrapping of a safety-critical role and pay cuts has led to indefinite strikes. Overflowing bins have caused utter carnage, with chaos set to worsen. Taxi drivers are warning. As residents, workers, and shoppers desperately try to avoid the vermin-hit streets, cabbie Abid Hussein said, "The garbage is piling up, the vermin are coming out. It is disgusting. The city is filthy, it stinks. It is a health issue, and the situation will only get worse." The driver of 32 years slammed authorities for allowing Britain's second biggest city to go to the rats. Abid, speaking exclusively to The Sun, sighed, "It should never have come to this. People are terrified to come out. No one wants to see rats scurrying around all the unemptied bins and the rubbish dumped in streets, alleyways, and gardens. It is a terrible advert for the city where I have worked for more than 3 decades. I am a barometer for Birmingham, and this is the worst it gets." Abid spoke out as the cash-strapped Labour City Council is battling with bin workers to end their series of strikes over a pay dispute and conditions. Rodents likened to be the size of cats have been cited by residents scurrying around vast piles of garbage that have built up since the start of the year. Nearly 400 bin workers in the busy West Midlands city have been striking intermittently since January in the escalating row between bin collectors and the council. As they began an all-out strike on Tuesday morning, our team visited to see how people were coping with the knock-on rat epidemic. Abid said, "I've seen rats running around. They're horrible, dirty creatures, and they carry a health risk, so no one living or visiting here wants to see them. It's off-putting and bad for business. I get that the bin men are genuinely seeking a change to their conditions and better pay, and I welcome them doing that. But on the downside, we are left with a rat-infested city because bins are overflowing and not being emptied, and it is causing a domino effect. It's not nice. Streets should be kept clean and roads swept. The city is going downhill rapidly. The council is not what it used to be. There are all sorts of issues, and I believe there should be some more funding from central government." The cabbie urged, "Get the bin men back on the street, and we can all lead a better life." Stephen Owens, who is homeless and living in hostels in the city center, said, "I'm on the streets and I've seen rats the size of cats. It's quite scary." The jobless IT analyst 40 said, "They scurry around everywhere with all the dumped rubbish. The rats are running riot. It's easy to blame the bin workers. They're helping people by emptying their trash, but the public should be helping too by putting their litter away." Stephen reckons the plague of rats is alarming for locals, saying, "It must be terrifying for them. Over the past 3 years, I've been sleeping on the streets, so I see all sorts, including a few rats. I've got a hostel for a few nights at a time. It is grim, but it is better than sleeping on the ground in a rat-infested city." Anthony Evans, a support worker for addiction sufferers, said, "I've seen rats. They're not nice creatures and make your skin crawl. They scurry around the bins, which are full to brimming, and it's not a very good image for the city, which is already struggling with a bankrupt council." Anthony, 43, said, "I do have support for the bin men, and they are right to strike, but the council needs to find a solution quickly. You see them roaming around the overflowing bins, which makes the place look untidy, plus they are unhealthy. They freak people out, and the problem will only escalate." Street cleaner Peter Charalambous told how he has recently encountered rats as he goes about his daily work. He said, "I've seen lots of rats, and they are quite big like cats and gray-colored. It's usually about 5 m when I'm out working in the Colmore Road vicinity. One time, a rat got trapped in the street cleaning equipment, and that was horrible, and I had to physically get the dead body out. Peter is a former Birmingham City Council worker who left that post because he was being made to work weekends, which her couldn't do for religious reasons. He said, "So I became a cleaner for Calmore Business District, working weekdays. I support the bin men in their war with the council, and I think they deserve a better deal despite their action being a detriment to the city." IT worker Lion told how rats plaguing the city frightened her, as she has experienced the unwelcome pest at her home in the city. Speaking to The Sun in the sanctuary of a cafe, she said, "The rats are so nearby, it is scary." The digital transformation consultant, who asked not to be fully named, believes the council is absolutely wrong for trying to make pay just to frontline workers who do a good job. She added, "I'm on the side of the bin men." American Lion, who has lived in Birmingham since coming to the UK in 1967, said her encounter with vermin at her home in Birmingham was alarming and horrifying. She told how heavy flooding at her property had caused a broken drain, which rats had crawled into. She said, "I never saw them, but could hear them scratching and squeaking under the flipper boards. It was so horrifying and alarming. They are a real health hazard, but we finally got rid of them." Lion fears the rat situation will get worse the longer the strike goes on. "I have a horror of rats, surely everyone else does." Retired metal trade worker David Fanning, 70, said, "I've not seen any rats personally, but I know they're out there scurrying in the rubbish that has been left piled high. But I can't blame the bin men for going on strike. If their bosses are trying to cut their wages, why should they stand for that? I support them in their fight for fair pay, but the downside is our bins aren't being emptied, and that attracts rats." University student Sandy Dew told how plagues of rats, the size of baby cats, prowl the streets near her home, saying, "They're horrible." The sociology student, 22, living in Birmingham, said, "We see them all the time near our accommodation at night, scrounging through the bins and rubbish. There are lots of them, they make your skin crawl, they're a horrible sight and very off-putting." Sandy added, "They're big brown ones, like the size of baby cats." The University of Bristol student said, "It is disgusting and they pose a health risk, so it is very alarming. I'm afraid of what they might be spreading. They hide away, then come out on the prowl at night, when it's a big quieter bit when many students are coming and going. Whilst I have some sympathy for the bin men, after all, they are striking for a cause and to receive better pay. I think they need to renegotiate with the council and try to reach a resolution as soon as possible." Cab driver Tarek, who declined to be fully named, said, "I see rats all the time, great big ones, and there will be more around because of the strike. It is filthy here in the city now, but what is the council doing about the problem? Absolutely nothing. No one is doing their job properly now. The local authority is failing us. The bin men are failing us." The Sun has reached out to Birmingham City Council for a comment.